In an empire that had never known a female ruler, a daughter was born who would change everything. Her father created the Pragmatic Sanction, a document declaring his daughter could inherit the throne. While other princesses learned embroidery, Maria Theresa mastered Latin, politics, and survival. She fell in love at first sight with the Duke of Lorraine, a love that would last forever. Their marriage began as political necessity but became passionate devotion. Rare among royalty. At 23, pregnant with her fourth child, she inherited an empire on the brink of collapse. Prussia, Bavaria, France, and Spain all sensed weakness and moved to devour Austria. Her father left her an empire and crushing debts. The imperial treasury was completely bare. Her advisors told her to surrender and let a man rule. She told them to prepare for war. Frederick of Prussia struck first, seizing Silesia. The War of Austrian Succession had begun. She appeared before Hungarian nobles with her infant son, appealing to their chivalry and honor. The Hungarians rose, drew their sabers, and cried, "Let us die for our king." She commanded armies while raising 16 children, each birth happening between bloody battles. Bohemia fell to her enemies. Bavaria crowned a rival emperor. Her empire was shrinking daily. She proved herself a master diplomat, securing powerful Britain as an ally against France. Slowly, impossibly, the tide turned. Her generals won battles and her diplomacy isolated enemies. Peace came at last, but it cost her Silesia. She would never forget or forgive Frederick. War taught her that Austria must modernize or die. She began the greatest Habsburg reforms. She transformed her defeated forces into a modern, professional standing army of 108,000 men. Education became compulsory throughout her empire. Peasant children learned to read alongside nobles for the first time. She abolished torture from her courts, a radical and compassionate act in an age of cruelty. She counted her people and measured her resources, governing by data instead of tradition alone. In the century's greatest diplomatic coup, she allied with ancient enemy France against Prussia. With France, Russia, and Austria united, Frederick's destruction seemed certain. But she underestimated him. 7 years of carnage followed. Victories at Kolin, defeats at Rossbach, 500,000 dead. Her children became her diplomatic pawns. Each daughter a marriage alliance, each son groomed to rule. She sent her youngest, prettiest daughter to France to cement the alliance with the Bourbons. Through war and peace, Francis remained her partner, her lover, the one person she trusted completely. In an instant, her world shattered. Francis died suddenly in her arms. Part of her died with him. She would wear black for the remaining 15 years of her life. She would never love again. Her son Joseph became co-regent, impatient, radical, and enlightened. They clashed constantly over everything. She remained devoutly Catholic while Joseph pushed for religious freedom and Protestant tolerance across the empire. Smallpox stalked her family relentlessly. It killed her daughter-in-law, scarred her son, and took young Johanna. She wept as she signed the partition of Poland, writing, "The more I think of it, the less I can reconcile myself to it." Unlike other monarchs, she struggled with the morality of power. Her conscience was both strength and torment. Her education reforms created a literate empire. Schools in every parish, universities open to merit, not birth alone. She partially freed the serfs. Nobles could no longer torture or sell peasants. Revolution by royal decree. Her private warmth contrasted with public prudery. She established a commission to enforce moral virtue throughout Vienna. News from France tormented her. Marie Antoinette was becoming everything she feared: vain, wasteful, and politically naive. She wrote, "Your luck can change in an instant. I tremble for your happiness because things cannot go on like this." At 61, she fought her last war, a bloodless conflict she ended through diplomacy. Not swords, grandmother to dozens, she found solace in the next generation, the future she had worked to secure. Age and grief took their toll. The warrior queen could barely climb stairs, but her mind remained sharp. Even dying, she reformed her empire. Criminal law, peasant protection, economic development. Until her final days, she told Joseph, "Reforms must be gradual. Change too quickly, and the empire will shatter into pieces." She reviewed 40 years of rule. Losses and victories, children married to strangers, an empire transformed. She kept his rooms exactly as he left them. After 15 years, she still wore his wedding ring beside her own. Her last letters to France went unanswered. She would die not knowing her daughter's fate awaited the guillotine. She held court one last time, too weak to continue speaking. The empire watched their mother slowly failing. In the end, she was surrounded by the dynasty she built. 16 children who bore her 40 grandchildren. Her last thoughts were of reunion with her beloved Francis. Death held no fear, only the promise of love restored. At 63, Maria Theresa died peacefully. An empire mourned. The age of enlightened absolutism had found its champion. Princes and peasants wept alike as her casket passed through Vienna. She had been their mother, and now they were orphaned. She was laid beside Francis in the imperial crypt. Their hearts, buried together in urns, beat as one for eternity. With Maria Theresa gone, Joseph unleashed revolution from above. Abolishing serfdom, granting freedom, challenging the church. Marie Antoinette wept for the mother whose advice she spurned. 13 years later, she would meet the guillotine. Her children ruled Europe. Leopold became emperor. Maria Carolina ruled Naples. Maria Amalia ruled Parma. Habsburgs on every throne.